Most of the major stuff, most
Yeah,
of the
most of
tablers
it.
been replaced, guns been replaced.
Yeah, most of cars, we've gotten all the cars that we need to get. We've gotten the new dispatch system, that should last for another 10, 15 years, at least 10 years. And then, the clock camera and all of that came out of this fund.
Mr. Mayor, quick question. Since none of the other councilmen is here, what do you think? Are they coming, or should we reschedule maybe another day?
We have all our
For
department heads
this, we don't care about that.
It's-
But for the meeting, I mean,
We will have this budget eventually come to the council in April for final approval as part of the ordinance. That's when we have the full budget.
here. Plus it's being recorded as well.
The reason I'm saying the last year, I know Councilman Hassan said there used to be a full day budget session.
That's what this is.
I know, instead of being 1 hour, he's asking to cover it.
We leave enough hours to go over as much as we need. So if we were in here for the full hour and we used it, we would schedule another one. But traditionally, you always have one department head come after another. Council asks questions, we go over it, and then we move on to the next. We're just moving fast, that's it. We're not doing anything different. The only other difference we're doing is, in the past, they would be in the small room. But we can't record it in there, there's not enough room in there, so hence we're having it here, but we're doing the exact same thing.
All right, I just asking question next
No,
year.
you're fine, Councilman, I'm
That's
happy
right.
to explain. So if this goes over, everyone will come back, but we're hoping that we get through a lot of them, because as you see, all the departments are here to go through their budget, so everyone's here when they don't have anything else going on, so.
All right. Good.
So, next is John. So John will be presenting, building and grounds, code enforcement and building inspection. And then we'll go over the road budget, the two funds, major and local, and then water and sewer. So first, starting on page 12, which is basically building and grounds. So this department basically covers all the costs related to the building, which is the city hall, plus all the ground activities around the city hall, plus some of the parks and, some of the other buildings around the city that the city owns. So this fund also has, reflects the alley replacements that we did from the general fund. So that is why if you look at 2023-24, there was 2.1 million that was spent in capital improvements, and a lot of that was for alley projects and some of the other projects in the city.
Land purchases too.
Yeah. What?
Those land purchases.
Yeah, land purchases and all that. So, otherwise, most of the other costs are fairly in line. And this year, the budget is 1.8 billion.
Just for the building and
Building and
For
grounds.
health?
Building and grounds.
grounds, okay.
Anything jump out, Chuck?
what do you mean by the street lighting,
Street
430?
lighting, the money that we pay to DTE for all the lights throughout the
Yes.
city.
Have we fixed the ones in Joseph Campo yet?
What was that?
Have we fixed the ones in Joseph Campo?
That is a good question.
It's like,
Some, we get,
It wasn't for lack of telling them, that's for sure.
yeah, no, we get repair tickets, I just paid for 4 of them that got fixed, so. They go in on an order, we see, we put them in, they go out. So DT fixes some, and then,
I think we notified them from at least 3 different angles when they
yeah,
brought to us.
Wayne County and,
We'll just make a note, John, send another, email them all.
yeah.
So 1.8 million is include the windows and everything that we fixed last year, that
Yeah,
in this budget?
yeah. So that was part of the last year's.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the
Some of-
carpet,
All the carpets that were replaced and some of that. And then some of the projects will be done in next year, so that they are part of the budget.
Anything else, guys?
We had a lot more expenditure this year in building maintenance because of fixing the elevator, which is finally fixed now. And plus, next year, or either this year or early next year, we'll have the new elevator, so that cost is being budgeted for next year.
So what, 1.8 million, that was last year, you say, right?
Right.
What's the
and
budget for next year?
Again, 1.8 million.
Okay, same.
2 years ago, it was 3.4 million.
So are you expecting to go down next year by?
Yeah, because we're not budgeting alleys here. We did a lot of alleys 2 years ago through the general fund. Now we're trying to do, we have some grants on the alleys, so we're trying to do through
Other means.
the grants. And a couple of alleys we're doing, because we're fixing the sewer system in those alleys, so they are being covered through the water and sewer fund.
All right.
Code enforcement. Page 21.
Yeah.
I'm sure we stay the same from last year, right?
Yeah, most of it is the salary cost, 2 years ago.
Yeah, so there's not much difference this year in code from last year,
From 2 years ago.
from 2 years ago.
It's actually going to be less from coming the current year.
Like 80 grand.
So what is the revenue compared to the expenditure in this department?
There's really nothing new in here. 2 years ago, we were at 258,000, and then this year we're budgeting for next year for 359,000. So about a 100,000 increase. But a lot of that cost is due to salary costs and
A lot of revenue is, it goes on collection too,
yeah.
so
So
the longer this goes, the more they collect over time, we end up realizing more revenue
It's not
later.
really a revenue source, it's more of a fix-it source.
Yeah.
People broadcast all the time, they love to do it on social media, that the city's doing this and that for revenue, but it's not. Frankly, we dismiss a lot, and people fix stuff, it's not really a revenue
This
generator, and it's not meant to be.
this
I know,
department.
but still money coming in though, right?
There is, yeah, certainly there
There's
is.
money coming in.
Offset the cost of operating.
Right, but the idea is to ensure that the
Compliance.
city complies with the ordinances and to ensure that, we keep a clean city. So I think that's why this is an important department from that perspective. You have to follow up with the residents. Like Max said, a lot of the tickets that get issued get dismissed at once,
Compliance.
the residents finish their work, or mostly the habitual ones are the ones that end up paying.
Those are the ones that are still showing up in the court, the ones that are just not complying at all.
So this will need further discussion because like we've been always discussing, there's a lot of technical issues with the code enforcement. Like not a single day passes by without me getting, across someone who's complaining about something that happened. Like today, doctor just told me, they sent me a warning to take off this stuff from the building, whatever. I hired someone for $200 to clean them. As soon as he got the warning, then a week later he got a ticket. He said he talked to one of you. He said you will take care of it, and then nothing happened. He's showing me the ticket. So things like this, every single day I get across of this. There's a really serious problem with the way they process things. And I'm telling you, like when they keep sending, we discussed this like 100 times. I know this is not the time to discuss it again, but it's annoying because you send the ticket to the wrong address. You take a picture of the wrong address and send ticket to somebody else. You never did anything to fix this problem. I mean, the same person's name, frequently I see it when they show me the ticket, the pictures that are sent to the wrong address and stuff. But we'll discuss this later. This is just telling us that we are wasting money to cause trouble to the residents without gaining anything else back from
So
that.
there was, and I can't speak to specifics, dismissals and disciplinary actions right along on this. If there are still things that need to be followed up on, we will continue to do that. You know, there's frankly a lot of stuff that is issued out on a daily basis and even a weekly basis. I mean, we're 1,700 or more a month go out, so that leaves a lot of room for things coming and going. But with that said, I mean, it is a work in progress, and we will continue to improve on it. But as I stated, you know, there has been disciplinary actions and dismissals for repeat offenders on our end. But after this is over, Mayor, if you could let me know what that one is particularly, because I'm happy to look into it.
Okay.
Did you, Mayor, Councilman, do you guys have any other specific questions on this budget?
I don't.
Then, building inspection,
What page is that?
this is page 23.
Which is,
Yeah.
that's been ways too.
Yeah. So again, this is where we used to have McKenna, and now, 2 years ago, and now, you know, our budget was 500,000. And now we do a lot of these activities and a bit more, in-house. The budget is about 569. This again generates a lot of revenue, in terms of building inspection and other.
The
Yeah.
5,690 though? Or-
Yeah, right, 569, and most of that gets recovered through the revenue that we collect.
Yeah, we're actually doing better than
Yeah,
when McKenna was here, get better compliance and
our revenue is also higher than when McKenna was there.
Yeah, again, there is no intent in this area to be a revenue generator.
It's not a revenue generator.
The hope is that it will pay for itself,
It
of
does,
course.
and the other thing is that we are not supposed to
make a profit.
make a profit from this activity. So we can only recover
What we're spending.
what we are spending on it.
Are you getting recovered or are you
Well,
evening?
we are not fully recovering it, but, you know, we're very close to it.
If we look at it as a calendar year, we are, but we're on
Fiscal year.
a fiscal year, so when I ran the numbers as a calendar year, we did better than McKenna, but now we're on the fiscal year, so I have to go through this whole cycle to see where we're at, but it looks like we will be fully recovered.
Any questions on that one, John? Mayor, any questions?
No.
All right, what's up next?
So next is the road, it's page 28. So this is, page 28 just shows the revenue. Again, the revenue is pretty much in line with what we had, last year, or the year before. So the next page, page 29, is where we have the expenses. This is basically the major roads. And again, whatever we're getting, most of it is being spent in various road projects and other activities.
we're not short of projects on the roads for sure.
We'll be next for, next couple of years, we are planning to use, more than what we're going to get as an annual revenue. So that will come out of the fund balance. So we want to do a couple of major roads.
Any questions on the, major roads? Okay, moving on.
Page 31 is local roads. Again, this is the revenue, about $1 million in local roads. And then page 32 is where we have the expenses. So again, a little over $1 million that we'll be spending on the local roads. We're trying to spend whatever we're getting through the revenue on the roads. But obviously, if you want to fix all our roads, we need a lot more revenue. So we're also trying to source some grants to cover some of the projects.
The majority of portion was getting done by the grant funds last year, right? All our road?
Well,
Yeah, it always is. I mean, we are very
That's what we
grant
try
heavy.
to do. And right now, we are working on one of the roads which is covered through the MDOT program.
Which one?
I think it's the connector.
KNF is
Yeah,
through MDOT.
that's the 81.
Through federal government, and then
Yeah, that's the
MDOT disperses.
8119.
Yeah.
We need to get this one done, Everly, in front of City Hall.
Well,
It's
actually,
terrible.
That's on our list.
Yeah, on today's agenda, it's the sewer main is, it's the last agenda item in order for next year to pay it. It's funny you say that, Councilman.
To pay which one? Kona?
Over here,
Evelyn.
I'm like,
Oh, I don't know, I thought you said to
no,
connect.
I heard you guys wanted to do it, so, we actually have the agenda item to do the water main underneath it, so that next year we can prep it for council.
So far, how much we are doing for the water back, sewer backup?
The sewer?
Yes. Because last few days ago had a rain, also been a lot of
Wa-
houses
Water and
under the
sewer's
water.
up next, actually,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we're about to hit it, so.
Yeah, water and
That's the
sewer
big one.
is our big one, page 39. And we expect to collect about 15 million in the revenue. Again, a lot of the revenue will depend on how much grants we utilize during the year. So 15 is just an estimate for the revenue. Through this, we are covering, more than 16 million on the expenditure side. We're doing a lot of projects. A lot of them are getting covered through the grants, but there are certain projects that are getting covered through the water and sewer fund also. I think right now, majority of our money is being spent through the water and sewer fund on various water main projects, their service line projects,
Plus
sewer
we- yeah.
cleaning projects.
We intend upon bringing a large sewer clean to you coming up, hopefully.
Yeah, so,
We're not sure on the exact price of it yet, but, just to put it in perspective, the main sewer on Casimir from Conant, essentially all the way to the freeway, is about half plugged. So we believe once we can get that clean, the whole north end of the city should see some significant relief.
I think, from 2-3 years ago, we have seen a significant reduction in flooding in the city, based on all the activities that we have done in the last 2 years.
Continued maintenance and
And we
cleaning.
continue to do those.
Yeah, because to put it in perspective, Councilman, we just had that large rain.
Yes.
And, that was probably one of the larger ones in the past couple of years, candidly. And in years past, for something a lot less than that, we would hear a ton of people complaining. Like, it would be nonstop, they'd be flooding into City Hall. And, I mean, I don't think I personally even took one complaint, at least for me, when it happened. Now, I'm not
Very
saying
few.
basements didn't flood, because they did, but it seems, at least from our
Lot lesser,
perspective,
yeah, that's right.
significantly less. So we are definitely starting to chip away at it.
Yeah, and I
It's
think
making a difference.
what we have done in terms of investment in the,
Jetter truck?
jetter truck, and the
Sewer
street cleaning, sweeping projects, and the people that we've hired, that has really made a difference. And then, in addition to that, the work that we are doing in mapping the sewers and doing our water main projects, all of that is helping in cleaning up and addressing the issues in the city.
We're making significant headway, and we will continue to do so. Any more specific questions on water and sewer?
So what's the percentage goes to the Detroit from our water bill and what we kept?
You say what goes to?
Mhm.
the-
We buy
pay for
water for, yeah, we paid the water to the
Is
Detroit.
the line item on here?
Yeah. You're saying, how much do we pay?
Mm-hmm.
We buy our water from GLEVA. So GLEVA is the Great Lake Water Authority that provides water and sewer to, that provides water and sewer, to all the neighboring cities,
Mhm.
including Detroit. So our annual expenditure is about $1 million in water and about almost 5 million, 4.7 million in sewer.
So we are paying more money for the sewer.
Oh, yeah.
Way more
Usually,
money.
it's usually
Because
triple.
it is more because sewer requires a lot more chemical treatment and everything else for handling it. So sewer is generally much more expensive. And you have to understand, usage of water depends on the water we actually consume through our taps and stuff. But the sewer also handles the rain that we get. So that flow, which is not getting charged through the water, also is going through the sewer. Plus all the water that we use goes through the sewer. So that's why the amount of liquid that the sewer handles is a lot more than the amount of water that we consume in our houses.
So we also have a large water loss
Yeah.
as well every year. We have about a 25% water loss right now that we can't bill for. That obviously requires continual maintenance and upgrades of the water lines in the city. We still have, 100-year water mains all over the place. And as we continue to fix that, the loss will go down, which, obviously 25% of the overall bill is pretty significant.
It went up to 25% in the last couple of years because there was a huge water leak near the jail that nobody knew about. And I think that had part to do with it. And plus, we had a lot of water main breaks that also contributed to the water loss.
That's,
But as we address the infrastructure of the city, water loss will definitely come down. I think what we need to understand is that we need to invest at least $500 to $600 million in infrastructure in this city in the next 10 years.
Tiffany just reminded me that we do have a water loss grant actually that we want as well, that we have to rebid out in order to detect that, to have
Leak
to track
detection.
it down.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, we are going to see a lot of activity in the water and
So
sewer
basically-
area.
The water loss, resident of the Hamtramck, they are paying for those, even,
We have a lot of water loss underground that we don't even know about.
Right, because again, the water loss is happening because of the old infrastructure.
And it doesn't, all your water leaks don't come
when
from
did you find out this water loss?
Sometimes you don't,
Huh?
because
This
when-
was, the jail one we found out a few months ago, and we have addressed it, but sometimes you don't find that out.
some of
Sometimes
them
they're
are leaking.
underground and you can't detect it, because it's not coming up. So it's literally going right back into the sewer on us.
That's
We have a
why,
lot of them broken right next to catch basins and underground. The catch basins are in great shape, so when they break, water's going through the ground right into catch basin, it doesn't become apparent on the top of the road.
So,
That's the reason why we are spending so much effort and money in trying to address the underground.
we purchased some kind of cameras also to look for those.
Yeah, we're
That's sewer.
doing that, we are mapping the sewer and we are
That's-
doing sewer scoping and.
We're doing sound, leak detection, sound detecting is what we're going for next, so.
That's what, we're also doing the grants,
Yeah.
that we just said, looking for as well. Any other questions on this?
Yeah, I don't.
No, no, do you have a-
No.
No.
All right, I think that's it for John, right?
Yep.
Isabella, you're up.
Page 25.
So we're going to talk about both the Community and Economic Development Department and
The
the
DDA.
DDA. Largely unchanged for CED, aside from an increase in salary and benefits proportionate to making a part-time employee a full-time employee, which is needed because we're making progress with our Michigan Main Street certification and we need a full-time DDA employee in order to qualify, and that will unlock grant opportunities and facade improvement programs for businesses. So that's a big priority for us. Other than that, we just have been trying to trim some membership dues, different fees for supplies and such, so we can really prioritize funds for training for staff. We have several, I guess 2 or 3 more employees than we did in the 22-23 calendar year, so I have more people to train. All in all, that totals to a $281,000 budget.
Next is 34.
So you have to have certain amount of employees to get the grant money?
Yeah,
For the Main Street certification.
They want to make sure that we have an employee that is designated 100% of their time is focused on initiatives with the Downtown Development Authority, which does, represent a sizable amount of our department's time, including events. I mean, it's initiatives that have an impact outside just the DDA district, but the entire city and really the core of our development initiatives.
So let's say you are the full-time employee. Beside you, you have to have additional employees to show them to get the,
Correct, so
Right.
the 2 full-time employees we have in the department now are myself and our assistant CED manager who handles our planning and zoning functions and assists me with grant administration and special projects. So 2 full-time isn't even enough to say to Michigan Main Street that we can be certified. We have a full person dedicated to DDA initiatives. I'm the DDA director, but my attention is split across a wide variety of projects, so it essentially just increases capacity for us to be able to handle those programs.
page 34,
EDA?
DDA. We have a limited revenue, just 42,000 from the village that we get. And accordingly, we only have 42,000 to spend, and that's being reflected in the budget.
What's the page number?
Page number 34.
This is split into 3 categories for projects, beautification, and events, which all those 3 together overlap quite a bit, but it handles initiatives like the salt and snow for the DDA businesses, flowers in the downtown, different repairs, the bazaar, different business owner engagement opportunities and events. And I'll emphasize that we do a lot more with this limited amount of funds than we are, that any typical city would do. It's really supposed to be for administrative cost. And in the past, CED has used DDA funds for that, for exactly that, for administrative and for salaries. And that was a pivot away from that in recent years, so we're continuing on that path as opposed to using it for salary. That's all programs to benefit the DDA.
Kind of a drop in the bucket as far as the big whole budget is concerned.
You'll recall in the economic recovery plan that, we provided at the last council meeting that there's a lot of different revenue generating sources that we need to look at in order to increase capacity here. So absolutely a drop in the bucket, as Max said.
So out of the economic development salaries, where does that 300,000 grant fall in? It was for 3 years to pay for a full-time employee.
Yep, so
Where-
that is our economic recovery coordinator, designated to work on specific projects for that recovery plan. It also, $300,000 funded the contracted planner to make the plan as well. So that $300,000 is not reflected in this budget because it's a separate grant fund.
Are we eligible to receive it again, apply for it?
Well, that was a specific grant for a specific purpose. And I think once we have a couple of years left in it, and after that, we have to source another grant.
Yeah, we're not eligible for it again, because it's about the creation of the plan and beginning implementation of it. It's meant to kind of hand off that function to the city. However, there are conversations I had just today with our contact with the Economic Development Administration saying, okay, you have this plan now, you have to implement it. Let's set up more meetings to discuss different capital improvement projects, in particular related to our infrastructure, and industrial development, to see what additional funds we could apply for through the EDA. However, it wouldn't fund the same salary again.
Okay. What's next?
HR, Shana,
Where,
page 15,
15?
yeah.
Also not a very large budget per se. Go ahead.
Shana, page 15. So that's just the budget for the HR department. Not a big budget. Most of it is salary and employee recruitment cost in it. So it's only around 60,000. 2 years ago it was 164. So it's not a change from 2 years.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You're the cheapest department, costing us money.
Yeah, and then the next one is the retiree funds, and this is a big expense, about 6.2 million.
Where is that?
That's page 16, next one.
Next page.
And,
Legacy costs.
yeah, so these are basically MERS related costs. It's 6.2 million annually. 2 years ago, we got a 16 million grant from the state to, which went directly to MERS. So overall expenditure that year was 21 million, but now it's back to the normal expenditure, which is about 6.256 million.
So you will see this continue to rise, at least for the next couple of years. But then it will trend until it start leveling off and going down, and by hopefully the end of the 2030s, we'll have our fund up to 100%, which this, for the I won't say will go away.
It won't go
will be
away, but it'll
millions
reduce
less.
significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of 2030s, this expenditure will reduce quite a bit. Majority of.
Another
the
5 more
cost-
years, we're gonna wait for to reduce.
No, not 5 more, 15 more. End of 2030s, 2039, 2040.
Which is a far cry better than what it used to be.
Yeah, I mean, we are, MERS contribution was at 40%. With the money
Overall
that came
funding.
in from the state, we've gone up to 57%. You know, so we are in a much better position than we were,
A couple of years
a couple
ago.
of years ago.
I thought it was 62%.
It was, but it goes
It
down
fluctuates.
fluctuates depending on, the salaries and depending on how the fund assets give their returns.
Because MERS invests the money as well, so as long as it's performing high, we do better. If they take a hit, we take a hit.
So is there a way to check, like, you know, those people that we are paying? I mean, are they still the same number every year?
No, it goes down.
Is
As
How can we
retirees-
confirm?
Well, MERS takes care of it, and as
They-
people
they-
pass,
Pass away.
they fall off the rolls. Trust me, we know. We get the reports.
We get the report and we submit our monthly data to MERS, and so we know, how many people are there.
We can actually tell you what retirees are actually even getting a year if you want it.
Well, I'm saying, like, as long as, no one, we are not paying people who passed away already.
No,
No.
that doesn't happen.
Because that was an issue recently that was
That's a federal.
found, federal
Yeah, that's what I'm
government.
saying, and really
That's
coming
the
home.
social security administration.
MERS notifies us though.
No, we can't afford that.
All right.
So
Next.
Sophia, page 9.
Alright. Go easy, this is our first shot at it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. All right, page 9.
So again, this is not a big change from 2 years ago. The only difference is that now we have a full-time treasurer, so the cost is going to be up based on additional manpower. The overall cost for next year is $384,000.
So we got 2 employees there, or? how
No,
many?
we've got
3, I guess.
Yep.
3 full-time and 2 part-time.
It's a 3 point, what's the amount?
$384,000.
384,000.
It's a page 9.
Yes,
Yeah.
Beside the salary, is there any other expenses
that's
that
the
are
biggest
just?
expense. Otherwise, you have a little bit of, contract services, and then postage, and printing expenses. That's about it. Those are the major expenses.
All right.
We don't have any
Next, I go
questions
easy,
for
so
us.
we're not asking.
So you get,
You sure not got one? May throw
I
one
mean,
more? No, alright.
Thank you for letting me go easy.
Next is the assessing department, Conrad,
where's that?
page 10.
Yeah.
Next page.
How are
So again, not a whole lot of change, just basically salary costs and some professional services, and then some contract services, and cost for legal notices and stuff.
And those professional contract services aren't always used, they're there if we need them,
Yeah,
so it's for like JS, and if we need to go for special counsel, so like, unlike any large commercial appraisals, they could get anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000 for an appraisal, and they have to go across the country to do it. So it's better to have it budgeted there and not need it or use it than not having it. There are certain attorneys who look at city assessing departments to see if they don't have anything in that department to go after appeals and go after the client that way, so it's also protected better to have it there.
How often do you do appraisal for the city?
A reappraisal is, there are companies that do that, that would have to require to go physically inventory every building across the city. I wanna say the reappraisal for a city about this size would probably cost around, starting at $350,000 to $400,000 for the year or higher, depending on which company does it.
Any questions?
How many appraisals we have?
There's 2 full-time employees and usually 1 part-time living employee between income tax and assessment.
I'm not targeting here, but those department we have the customers are in. citizens are really upset. They are always say, our appraisal is not good, not accurate. That's why your taxes is somehow way high. Do you have any answer for this?
The taxes are based off the millage rates that are set by the city, and our assessments are based off the sale price. So most of the people that are complaining are the people who have recently purchased their properties and they've recently uncapped. So when the tax is uncapped, they uncap at a higher value. Sales in Hamtramck have been going up. This year was probably the lowest in the past 5 years, where the residential assessments only went up 15.4%, or about almost 15.5%. In other years, they've been around 20%. So people have been paying more for houses and properties in Hamtramck on the residential side. We, by state law, have to be at 50% of that true cash value, so we do analysis. So unfortunately, that's just where their assessments have to go. If I don't put it to 50%, county equalization, when they check my numbers, we'll put it to 50%. If the county doesn't do it, the state will do it for us, and we just get yelled at.
So 15 point something is the millage rate for Hamtramck, or
No, the 15.5% is the residential assessments of what they've done in the past 5 years.
what's the millage rate? City?
It's about 50.4 for, homesteaded property and about 67.8 for, non-homestead.
Last I checked, we're actually less than Detroit and Highland Park.
Yeah.
You sure about it?
We had
Last
people,
time I checked, unless they changed it.
so $250,000 value, if you compare to here to Sterling Heights or any other cities, our tax is way higher. People is complaining, those things.
It's not, it's the same across the board, it's the millage rate based upon the value, so if you took a $250,000 house here, it's based upon our millage rate, you take a $250,000 house in Sterling Heights, it's based upon their millage rate, there's no difference, it's the same formula across the board statewide. And in fact, last year, the assessments went up statewide 5% across the board, every city.
So I thought that every city has their own millage rate.
They do, they're
Right.
different, but for instance, how I just said Detroit and Highland Park have a higher millage rate. If you take a $250,000 house that's here and put it in Highland Park, your taxes are gonna be higher, same with Detroit. It's just the values. are
That's
higher.
something interesting. People always complaining about our taxes much
Our
higher than
millage is
Detroit.
lower. We actually are not assessing at the full 20 mills that charter allows us to. We're at 18,
17, it
17.
was 17.9 last time, about 17.4 after the tentative millage reduction fraction this year.
yeah, so we're 2 full mills under what the charter actually allows us to be at. It's just our house values, that's it. Can't do anything about that.
Now the value in Hamtramck expensive and Sterling Heights.
Yeah, it's getting pricey to live here. I mean,
The value is expensive in Sterling Heights and
you hit it right on the
Shelby
nose.
Township.
When the
Hamtramck.
value goes up, the taxes go up. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the demand for the property here. So if someone wants to live here and they're paying a premium for it, they're driving the prices up. And we know what's happening. People are coming from other areas of the country that are astronomically expensive. So they come to Hamtramck and they say, oh, you know what, I really want to live there. I was paying $800,000 in New York, but I can afford to pay $400,000 even though the house is only worth $350 here, so they're driving the prices up. People want to live here right now, so until that stops, they're still gonna be high. I mean, it's and there's nothing we can do about it.
Plus,
It's all based on the state law.
We're so close to Detroit, so a lot of people who work in Detroit prefer to live here instead of living in Detroit. Just 5 minutes away from it.
As long as people are demanding to live here and they're paying a premium, it's gonna keep those prices high.
And
Then they complain they're not getting the premium service though. That's the issue.
They're
That's
getting
what
a
we're
premium
trying to do.
service in comparison. They absolutely are. I mean, the services are significantly up compared to historically what they've been.
That I'm agree with. It's improved a lot of service-wide in the last few years, but still, I mean, what people are paying is not comparable. That's the
I
thing.
understand that. Unfortunately, we suffer from, we don't have a lot of industry here and
Yeah.
tons of business. It's a residential city. So a lot of cities that otherwise have, probably as many businesses as they do residences, have that. We don't, so.
Like Highland Park is a big example. They have a lot more industry than, Hamtramck. And there's a lot less residential people there.
And in all honesty, Detroit's gonna be experiencing these same issues in the next few years. So the areas around Hamtramck, in Detroit, so the Bangtown and the outside, Davidson Division and stuff like that, just outside Hamtramck, east east of Kona, like when I say our residential went up about 15.5% for the assessment, that section of Detroit, just east of Kona, went about 50, anywhere from 46 to 57% of the assessments in 1 year, in that section alone.
Well, this is, currently is good now, the way country is moving forward right now, its future projection is very fishy, so when you're budgeting, think about this too, then what's gonna come up and what can be happening. This house price is probably not gonna be as good as what now.
So if we go into a
So-
recession, everything goes up from underneath us, so, just like it did years ago.
And then, like, so for this year, the inflation rate calculated by the state was 3.1%, so the taxable values went up by 3.1% for every property across the state. It's been 5% the past 2 years, so it's a slightly lower reduction than it has recently, so.
So basically, anyone that complains about the taxes being high, you can tell them to their face, 100%, it's not our fault. There's nothing council, mayor, city manager, administration can do. Tell the people who are paying a premium for the houses here to stop doing it. That's the only way it'll go down.
This is your job, Salman, you're a real estate agent.
You should recommend people to.
It's your fault, Councilman.
All right, next,
Mayor, you wanna just call it, since it's pretty much 7 o'clock, we'll just go today?
okay.
Next council meeting.
Yeah, we'll just schedule it for the next one and wrap them up. We've covered most of them. At this point, we just have a few, so.
All right, well, let's just, maybe take a couple minutes break.
I was going to ask you for that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you 5 minutes, if not okay?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Hmm?